Hello, welcome to Geeks Unleashed. It's episode 120. I'm Mark.
I'm Jasmine.
Each week on Geeks Unleashed, we bring you some geeky news, we catch up on our pop culture lives, and bring you a review of something adapted from the comic book or gaming world.
Yes. Ooh, and we got one of my favorites this week. But before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And be sure to leave a comment and let us know what you're excited to see, what you want to talk about, how you feel about Super Mario Brothers, the movie from 1993. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, we appreciate that as well. We would also love it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser.
Also, just a little reminder that Ko-Fi is available for you to tip us some cash and help us pay for the running of this content. So any donation is greatly appreciated.
Indeed. All right, we got a special treat for you guys. But before we get there, we're talking about Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Inspired, obviously, by Nintendo and the Super Mario Brothers games. So 1983, throwing it all the way back. The arcade game was developed and published by Nintendo. It was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto and Junpei Yokoi.
And we're going to highlight some of the games that have come out over the years. Not every single one, because I'll be honest with you,
there's too many.
There's way too many. They had games licensed by they licensed out games. Nintendo
yes.
have to Ubisoft, Philips, Hudson. There's been educational games. There's been Mario Karts, which I'm sure you're aware of. There's been loads of sport. There's been loads of sport ones, Mario and Sonic, which is actually quite weird to think about. The Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. There's Mario Golf. There's Mario Baseball. There's Mario Tennis. But anyway, all kicked off in 1983, as Jasmine said, on the arcade game. But then in 1985, Mario got his own side-scrolling game on the Nintendo Entertainment System, commonly referred to as the NES. So that was the first one.
Yes. Then that was followed up a year later by Super Mario Brothers 2.
And then a little bit later, in 1988, we got Super Mario Brothers 3.
Then we got Super Mario Land on the Game Boy.
I think that was followed up by another 2, I think, on the Game Boy as well. But
yeah.
And then, is it about 8 years later, 1996, the N64 came out. Big thing. So
I used to love Star Fox. Not related to Mario, but Star Fox used to be my favorite game on the 64.
I know, by the way, people probably say that. I know there was games on the NES as well, on the Super Nintendo. Sorry,
Super NES was my introduction to Mario.
So Mario 64 came out in 1996.
And then we've got Super Mario Sunshine, which was on the GameCube.
Yeah. Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii.
And most recently.
Sorry, that was in 2007, sorry.
Yeah, then there was a big gap. And most recently we got, well, other than all of the bajillion iterations of Mario Kart, we got Super Mario Odyssey for Switch in 2017.
Which I played and completed in January. Well, I say completed, I completed the main story. I've not done 100% completion or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's been also, anyway, we'll talk about more about our own experiences in a minute.
Yes.
I was about to skip ahead then. So.
But first, we got some people to get together, because I think, especially everybody like around our age, we all have some kind of Mario story. So we're going to share.
Jasmine, Geeks Unleashed, what's going on? I hear you're doing a review of Mario Brothers, so good luck rewatching that one or watching it for the first time. Hope you have a good time doing that. But it's Nick here from Comic Culture. I do a lot of reviews on YouTube, on comic books, and other things like that, also on Instagram, so check me out there. But I want to do a little bit of a show and tell for some of the Mario Brothers stuff that I have still from my childhood, which I think is pretty cool and fortunate, because I know a lot of us lost things along the way. I am so lucky to have these still in my life, starting with my original Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt from the NES.
Oh
man,
I was obsessed
so many hours
with Duck Hunt.
I don't think I ever had a zapper gun, but my best friend did growing up, so we would do that. But Mario Brothers was definitely a game that I played so much, and I absolutely loved it. Then we moved over to Mario Brothers 3. I don't think we played 2 very much, because it was just so different, right? And so we jumped right over to Mario Brothers 3, sunk so many hours into this one as well. Absolutely love that. This is actually my wife's from when she was younger, so she still has that one laying around. Then we jumped over into Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. I don't have a lot of hours into this game because I didn't have a 64 growing up. This was my wife's copy here, but some of my friends did have a 64, and I was loving this like 3D landscape that they just created, which we're going to cover in just a little bit as we keep going. And then over the last couple of years, I actually got my hands on a Nintendo 3DS. And we have Super Mario 3D Land right here, very reminiscent of Super Mario 64. So we went ahead and
I never played that
Mario
one.
Kart 7.
Man,
this was such a crazy thing. I didn't play a lot of it on 64, but it's right here.
Is that what you're playing now on DS?
Into the Switch. Now, the Switch was an opportunity for my daughter to really get into Mario Brothers. And when she was younger, when this game came out, we were binging it like crazy. The wife was involved. We actually ended up beating the game and getting a lot of the, the suns and collectibles and things like that. We're talking about Mario Brothers Odyssey. And man, we sunk so many hours in this. It felt like every single night after we got this game, we'd curl up on the couch, all three of us. One of us would be Cappy, which I got right there. One of us would be Mario. And, whoever was Cappy, their whole objective was just to mess with whoever was Mario at the time. So Odyssey was incredible. And then we got Super Mario Kart Deluxe 8, man. And this was
telling you, man,
so
friendship
fun.
destroyer.
We loved 7 on the other platforms. And, when we played around in the 64 one, it was great. But this was my daughter's introduction into the Mario Kart world, and we absolutely love it. So I hope you enjoyed that little show and tell of Mario Brothers, the things I still have from my childhood, things I'm collecting until this day. And I'm just so glad that this franchise stayed alive. It's so fun. It's for all ages, for sure. My daughter is into it. She absolutely loves it. And we're very much looking forward to the animated movie coming out here very soon as well. Anyways, have a good show, guys. I appreciate you. We'll see y'all next time.
That's so fun. I love that Mario is family friendly.
Oh, Mario is literally the family franchise. Well, yeah. I know Disney is, but Mario of the gaming world.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Cookie from Just Little Podcast. So for me, Super Mario started when I was a kid. So I was born in the 80s, product of the 90s, but my brother and I used to stay all the time playing Super Mario Brothers. I love that game so much. So the fact that we're going to get a new movie is just fantastic, and I'm super excited for this thing. The video game's been part of my childhood for so long that it's I just hope they do a really good job in fulfilling all of the nostalgia that people have, like myself, and people who.
I'm nervous about the new movie.
Many people who haven't played Super Mario, but it started for me with NES, and then it went to Super NES, and Super NES is where it shone for me the most. I had the opportunity to play it on Nintendo 64, but for me it was always Super Nintendo. Playing with my brother, just going through the entire island was such a magical moment, and it's anytime I pick up that Super Nintendo controller, I'm transported back to the 90s, and it was such a thing. So yeah.
I'll share my thoughts on after this video we're going to talk about our own thoughts and feelings. Right, okay, so we are on to another friend of ours.
Look at Herm, all decked out in his Mario gear.
From Big Herm Collectibles. Backlog Bro, PCP Army Bad Batch. What's a backlog, bro? I still don't know. Station to you all. Of course, this is the video about Mario since the movie is coming out soon, and can't wait to see it with the family. Mario, every generation loves Mario, man.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Our childhood life. I remember being a little kid waiting for the Nintendo, the first Nintendo to come out. I go back then, you know what I mean, and in 86 or something, I was 6 years old or something like that, and I remember my cousins having it, and finally on my birthday I got one with the with the gun and all that. With
yes,
Duck
Hunt. I'm telling you, man.
The first one, and trying to beat it and stuff it took me a long time. I finally beat it, but got the King Koopa and stuff like that, but I just remember all my cousins and everybody in the house, you know what I mean, playing it for hours and stuff like that. And of course, the movie that came out, which I can't remember the name of the movie, but it featured Super Mario Super Mario 3, which everybody was waiting for that, waiting in the theater to online for like over an hour to get in the theater to finally watch that movie, to get a glimpse of Mario 3 that had the raccoon, you know what I mean? You could be a frog, you know, the little flute traveling. You guys know the game. Yeah, but you had the cartoons, excuse me. I'm probably leaving that in there. But yeah, you had the cartoon and all that. So yeah.
I never watched the cartoon.
What else to say about Mario? It dominated my childhood. So yeah, that's what Mario meant to me. You know what I mean? Like, it was my whole childhood right there in the beginning. You know what I mean? That's even before Sonic the Hedgehog. Everybody knows I love Sonic. Of course, I had to mention him here, but it's all about Mario, and it's great that he's coming out. They're coming out with the new movie and stuff like that, and he will always be alive. Nintendo, they did their thing with Mario, and he's still doing his thing. Until this day, trying to save that princess, because for whatever reason, that princess continues to get kidnapped. What the heck is going on with the princess, man? Teach us some karate or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
something,
for real.
You know what I mean? But
you have to stop moving.
I'll wrap it up there. Well, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, every time you move the mouse, it gets wonky.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the next one, which is a slightly short video. This is Manny.
What's up, Mark and Jasmine? So I absolutely love Mario Brothers. In fact, the first film I saw in theaters was the Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo classic,
No way.
Super Mario Brothers. But my Mario journey starts in 1990. I wish I could say I got in on the ground floor in 1986, but I was one. I didn't get my NES until my 5th birthday party, and I remember it vividly. Mine, like so many others, came packaged with Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. And to say that I was not awestruck would be an understatement. I hadn't experienced a world that was always moving forward, always growing in a video game. My grandmother worked for Atari, and I was used to most of my platformers having
How cool.
on screen right away at the beginning. This was something new. This was something different. It was amazing then, and it's amazing now. Since the GameCube, the Nintendo has been the console of choice at the Mendiola house. My wife is a fan of every Mario game, but her favorites are Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and the Paper Mario series. My children love Mario Kart.
Of course.
My 7-year-old daughter just had a Mario-themed birthday party.
Oh, that's cute.
At the new Super Mario Brothers movie from Illumination is not on the top of our must-see list, would definitely be underselling it, and I will never miss an opportunity to gush about the Super Mario Brothers.
That is so fun.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Like the Mario family. Basically.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's just so, it's like family activities. Like everybody can get in on the nerdness.
Hey everybody, Brian here, host of the TV and Movie Trivia podcast. That's the podcast all about
It didn't seem to like that at the beginning, so I will press play from the beginning and not touch my mouse.
Hey everybody, Brian here, host of the TV and Movie Trivia podcast, the podcast all about TV and movie trivia. Here to talk about Mario and what the character and the game have meant to me. And honestly, they're gonna go down in my book as some of the greatest of all time. They're timeless classics.
Yeah.
Mario was one of the first games I ever played on an NES, and to this day, still probably one of the hardest games I have ever played. It's a relatively simple design, but still one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do in a video game, which just makes it so much fun, makes it so easy to replay as often as you want. Again, I just love the Mario games, the character, and everything else that Mario's involved in. And I'm just here for the new movie and can't wait to see it. timeless classic in my book. Again, I'm Brian, host of the TV and Movie Trivia Podcast. If you enjoy answering trivia questions like what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay, what do you say to view the Marauders map, what are the colors of each Infinity Stone?
I hereby solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
As well as what song does Ron Burgundy sing to the Channel 4 news team when he's trying to tell them what love is? Again, come by and check out my podcast, TV and Movie Trivia. Again, that's all I got, and I will see you guys later.
That's so fun. I completely forgot that the first Mario was attached to Duck Hunt.
Yeah, I think they repackaged it or something like that. But anyway, thanks, Brian. That's the first collaboration we've ever done with Brian of any sort. So we've known Brian for a couple of years now. So anyway, jumping on to our last video. It is a colleague of ours from the Bad Batch and my co-host from when I covered The Last of Us on Instagram.
Station. And what's up, y'all? It's your boy Missing Link. Just coming at you guys real quick with my thoughts or what Mario means.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to use this website again. Like this vid day video thing, they buffer for shit. So
to me, Mario to me, first and foremost, is an icon.
Yeah.
For generations, obviously. But beyond that, he's a hero. Mario showed that you could be a hero no matter where you come from, what your background is. You don't gotta be the tallest, most ripped guy to be a hero. You can be super short and have
and be a plumber.
yeah.
I spent many hours on the Mario 64 home screen just playing with his face as opposed to playing the actual game. Testament to how great Mario is. I remember in 1999, I was 11. I just got a Nintendo 64. But my older cousin and I stayed up all night playing the first Mario because I wanted to go through game history and beat the first Mario since he had it. And we couldn't save at the time. We had to leave the console on, which we weren't supposed to because my grandma was mad about that. But we had to hide it. We ended up beating it. Like we got to Bowser. We stayed up all night, got to Bowser, and had to stop until the next day.
Oh.
We ended up beating him, but just good memories. I'm very excited for this Mario movie, and I'm
hearing a lot of people are really excited about this movie.
I can't find the word. I was gonna say persevere, but it's not a good word. But it continues to push through the ages. Every Mario game, they don't really change too much because it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just a classic, fun game, and I love Mario.
I think everybody knows what they're getting into when they start a Mario game. You know, I don't think it's like.
Hold on, look, just listen to that last bit again. Hold on.
And I love Mario. It's a me, Mario.
It's a me, Mario. All right.
Apologies to people listening. That's the first time we've tried to use this website, VidDay.
We'll do some more research next time. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, like the buffering on their website is clearly awful. So, to be honest, I'm firstly thankful for everybody that we got asked to.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks so much, guys.
And firstly, it was brilliant. When we do this again, I'll do a bit more research and see about websites that can maybe buffer a little bit better, or maybe I'll just add the videos in and make my own YouTube private video or something like that, which will clearly be better. So but anyway, thank you so much firstly for those people that contributed, and it'll allow us to have our own conversation about our thoughts and feelings on the character. Now Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I mean, mine is real small. Like I said, I completely till just now, like I completely forgot Duck Hunt and Mario were one NES game. So I played a lot of Duck Hunt when I was that young, but I didn't ever play that version of Mario. My first time playing Mario was Super Mario World on the Super NES, and I just loved it. It was so colorful and it was fun, but it was also like difficult. I love the music. The one thing I didn't like is like it was like they said, it's like it's hard, like it's a hard game to play. Like something about those platformers where you can't go backwards. Like once the screen moves, that's it. Like there is nowhere to run. So there were definitely plenty of times where like I got stuck trying to jump over like a, what do you call those things? Like a tunnel, a portal. I kept trying to jump over them, and then I missed my window and like got crushed because the screen was moving.
Oh yeah. That's not every level, but there are levels where the screen does move and it is really annoying. Yeah. Like you get caught by the screen.
Yes, exactly. I get killed by the screen plenty of times.
That creates an extra challenge along the way. So, I just remember as a kid, it was like, I think now you can be a multi-console household.
Yeah.
But back in the 80s and the 90s, it was like you had one.
Yes.
Like very much was you'd go to a person's house and they had a Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, or they had a Super Nintendo or whatever it was. I remember my cousin had a Master System. He was the only person I knew that had a Master System. Our first console was a Mega Drive, which I know you guys call a Genesis. But then I had loads of other friends that had a Super Nintendo. And I don't remember many people having a Nintendo.
That was my older cousin. Like the people that were older than me all had a Nintendo. I used to watch my cousins play Zelda all the time on Nintendo. I never got into Zelda. But like the first console that I got was a Super NES.
Our first console was a Mega Drive, and then I'm trying to think after that, what did I get? I didn't get a Sega Saturn. It looked pretty cool.
I do remember the Sega Saturn.
I then got a Dreamcast.
I remember the Dreamcast.
And then I got a PlayStation 1, then a PlayStation 2. I only got a 3 just to play one game, and that was The Last of Us. And then I had and then I sold it. Literally, after I completed it, I sold it. I didn't care. I was like, I ain't got time for games. I'm old now. But now I've got a PlayStation 4.
Too old.
I know. Now I've got a PlayStation 4, a Switch, a Wii, a PS2.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of like being an adult. At this point, like you can just kind of buy at your own leisure versus like being a kid and it's like whatever my parents paid for is what I got.
So I'll be honest with you. So when I was a child, I think I was like getting as an older child, maybe like teenage-ish years, I got a Game Boy, the original classic grey block Game Boy. I later on followed that with the Game Boy Advanced, and I can't remember if it was purple or clear purple, like the clear purple. I've no idea where any of those are. And then I kind of forgot about Nintendo. And then at Christmas, and this is kind of where it went a bit weird for me, was like for years I'd wanted a Switch for years. So here she is.
She.
I'll call her a she or he. And here he is. It feels a bit weird to call it a he. Here she is. And anyway, I got that on Christmas Day last year, and I played Mario Odyssey, and I was playing it pretty much all the time. And I've completed the main story, and there's other levels, etc. But I absolutely love it. And then after that, I was like, I want to play other stuff. So I went and got myself a 3DS XL.
Fancy.
Now I just cover that off by saying there was a lot of stuff I traded in, and I didn't actually. There was no cash produced in the purchase of that. And then I got this, which is the new Super Mario Brothers on 3DS. So there hadn't been a line of Marios for ages, and this was the new line. And then I've probably got a bit nuts myself, and managed to get Yoshi on the 3DS.
Aww.
Mario Kart 7.
Yes.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympics 2012.
You should keep that one handy. It's going to come very handy this month.
Princess Peach. And, actually, this game here, which, like you just said, Sonic Rush. Those are my only 3DS games. I've picked up a few on the Wii. I'll just show you a couple.
Do you still use your Wii?
So the Wii we actually got this year.
Okay.
I had a Wii years ago and wasn't using it, so I sold it. Now I wish I hadn't have sold it, but anyway. So I bought it again. £20, cost £20. Anyway, so I've got Super Mario Brothers Wii, which is very similar to the 3DS version.
Okay.
I got given this the other day. Mario Kart.
Oh, nice.
Super Smash Brothers Brawl. And on the Switch, I haven't got all the cases near me, but we've got Mario Kart Deluxe, Mario Odyssey, as I said. We've got Captain Toad. As well. And I think that might be the only Marios on the Switch. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. But I tell you what, like I've got really into Mario. In the last sort of 3 or 4 months, and like I say, I played it on the Game Boy, on Mario Land on the Game Boy, and I loved it. And I played. I had Donkey Kong as well. It was a yellow cartridge on the Game Boy. I had that as well. And then I've kind of just skipped over it and just been a PlayStation.
Yeah,
really. And I kind of skipped over and didn't really play any of it. So I've had a lot of fun over the last 3 or 4 months going back and playing games that I've never played before. And I'm actually super addicted at the moment to Super Mario Brothers on the 3DS. It's literally all I do is ping this open and
it's so easy though. Mario is one of those games where it's like you don't really have to think too much. You just kind of have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, that music.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, that's fine. But I can't do it now. But the ping, I used to love the ping. Do you remember that? The ping when you put the cartridge in and it pings up.
No.
I'll have to Google the sound effect, but I just always remember that first ping when the Game Boy comes on, and just I used to love having that Game Boy. That was just what I loved about the Game Boy. Was different to the Game Gear, was that the Game Gear was useless in terms of battery. And basically, I remember my cousin also had that, and he used to have to constantly keep it plugged into the mains. But the Game Boy, I think, where Nintendo went well was they didn't do the color route, and they brought color in later as technology advanced. But they stuck with sort of the green and black, didn't they? And
the basics.
Yeah, the basics.
They were like, get it out the door.
But it worked, and it worked so well, and it took off because it was essentially a portable device where the Game Gear wasn't portable. It wasn't really portable because the battery power was just awful. So, but no, I agree with a lot of what we've heard in those videos. You know, he's a family.
Yeah, and it's true.
Character.
There's a Mario for every generation. Like your kids play Mario. You know, I still love Super Mario Brothers. Like I'm not that big of a fan of Mario Kart, only because I'm really bad at it. If I were any better at it, maybe I would like it more. But I think it's so crazy that I cannot think of another singular video game franchise that has the span that Mario does. You can think about Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft does an Assassin's Creed every couple of years, but it doesn't have the fan base that a Mario has. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's so interesting that this video game character just kind of transcends so many different types of media and generations. You've got 50-year-olds all the way down to 5-year-olds that play Mario.
It's crazy to think the evolution of the character from an arcade machine in 1983 to,
to a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, the Wii, the GameCube.
It even has its own theme park now.
Well, yeah, and that's something I really want to go to. So I know it's in Universal in California, and then it's coming to Universal in Florida.
Or you can go to the one in Japan.
Well, yeah, I know there's that as well. I can't go to either very easily. So you could, however, jump on a plane and go to California.
I could. I did just a couple of weeks ago.
I know. Oh, it's a shame you didn't go. Like,
Yeah, not really that big on theme parks. Not anymore. I mean, I don't know.
but Mario. Like,
I do want to go to Harry Potter World at some point.
Next time I go to Florida, I'm going to Universal. I'm going. No, seriously, I want to go to Mario. So me and Cookie from Just a Little Podcast have exchanging loads of messages about Mario World because obviously he lives in Florida.
Yeah, you just go crash on Cookie's couch, man, and y'all can road trip.
He's 3 hours away from Orlando. I think we'll have to get a hotel. But anyway, but equally, if I'm going to Florida, I think my wife and children want to come with me.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
I don't, unless we all stay on Cookie's couch. So,
and Cooper.
I'm not gonna bring the dog, like, but anyway, yeah. Oh, actually, there's one last thing I want to show you.
He got a figure, guys.
I got a figure. I know this is podcast world. I'll stick a photo up on Instagram on my That Geek Mark Instagram, and obviously if you want to watch the video on YouTube. But I bought this on the weekend on Saturday. So this is the Super Mario Brothers.
It comes with a plunger. Oh my god!
This is the Super Mario Brothers figure from the movie. So
that is too funny. Oh my god. You sent me that picture, but like I don't remember seeing the plunger when I looked at that picture.
I don't think
that is so funny.
I don't think I took a very good photo when I sent it to you, but that I'll be honest. So this cost £23 sterling for this, which is like $25.
It's like $120 US.
No, it's about $25. And I'll be honest with you, I only bought that because I had a £20 voucher, and I paid £3 of my own money.
Yeah,
I would never have paid 23 quid for that. Like, it's very overpriced for what it was. So.
Are you just saying that so your wife can hear it when she listens later?
No. She knows I had a voucher. Like, and, so no, I'm not. But I did when I got it show her and said I used the voucher because 23 quid. 23 quid is a lot of money, especially for what it is. And you know what? Like after the movie, that'll be like half price or something. So they had a Luigi, they had a Toad, and a Princess Peach. But of the next one I want, I clearly you've got to get Luigi. But Toad looked flipping awesome.
Yeah.
Toad. But I was like, I really want to get Toad. Toad looks so cool. And I was like, I can't get Toad and not get Mario. So but yeah, no, Mario, honestly, this is a cool figure.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Like that is a really cool figure. I like that. Like I really want to get it out, but I don't want to take it out of the box. NRFB. You remember that episode of Dexter's Lab? No. Never removed from box. NRFB. No, I don't remember that. And but yeah, it's not coming out. Yeah. If people want to send me another one, send Mark Toad, guys. But in short, like, well, I think both of us here, I think in summary, were not massively into Nintendo younger. I had a Game Boy though. I loved the Game Boy. I loved Donkey Kong and I loved Mario. But I've like really weirdly, and this was not planned for this episode at all, but I feel like there's such a good build up for this, where I've like fallen in love with this franchise now in my 40s. Yeah. But now you get to share it as like a family experience though. Yeah. We've been playing Mario Kart together, and my daughters actually will happily sit with me and watch play Mario Odyssey or play together. Are you guys all going to see the movie soon? Yeah, so we'll go next week and see the movie. But like I can't, the thing with the PlayStation is most of those games, I'll be honest, are adult level. Yes. And I can't sit here and play The Last of Us with my kids. No. No. But I can sit here and play Mario. Yeah. I think Nintendo did a really good job of sticking to their bread and butter. They were like, this is going to be family fun, and it has continued to be family fun. Like now you can play it as a family, but at the same time, like if your family wasn't there, you were hanging out with your friends, like you could literally all hang out, have a beer and play Mario Kart, and at 40 have like the best time, So let's talk about the movie, the main event. So Super Mario Brothers, the movie, written by Parker Bennett, Terry Runte, Ed Solomon, directed by Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel.
And it stars the late Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, Samantha Mathis, Fisher Stevens, Fiona Shaw, and Richard Edson. I had completely forgotten Fiona Shaw was in this movie.
I had as well. I'll be honest with you, I had to, when I started it, I went onto IMDb. I literally go onto IMDb every time I watch something, to be honest. I'd forgotten, and I was really sad. I was like, Bob Hoskins is dead.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. I was like, well, I was
Didn't
like,
Dennis Hopper die too? Am I making that up?
I can't remember now. We better check that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, the moment I saw him, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's dead, but I had to double check. And then when I did double check, I was like, oh.
Love Bob Hoskins.
Anyway, release date 28th of May 1993. So this ran for 104 minutes. It had a budget of let's just say around 45 million on average. And box office, it made 38.9 million.
Ooh,
so
womp womp.
It was a bit of a loss there.
Yeah, big one.
Couple million.
Big flop. Critically and just audience-wise. Like, apparently nobody liked this movie, but I did.
I did, but we'll talk about that.
All right, so fun fact. I think it's interesting that Nintendo, we talked about this earlier about Nintendo licensing out the rights for other game makers to make their versions of the Super Mario games. But when Nintendo was approached for the rights to this film, Nintendo like literally was like, yeah, do whatever. We don't care. You have complete creative freedom to do whatever you want, because they were so sure that their property was strong enough that it could withstand whatever someone else did to it. Now that is confidence. Like, you are so confident in your game. You're like, it doesn't matter how bad your movie is. You can't fuck up our reputation. So I do love them for that. And the eventual screenwriters, it went through quite a few iterations, but the eventual script that we got, they were inspired by films of the time, of the era rather, like Ghostbusters, Die Hard, and Mad Max. So I mean, I definitely get some like Mad Max vibes and some Ghostbuster vibes from this film.
It's quite funny to hear about people that have allowed their properties not to be handled by themselves.
Yeah, and Nintendo was completely hands off. They were like, "Yeah, do whatever you want. It's fine. We don't care."
I mean, look at what happened to Spawn.
Like, yeah, or Man Thing.
Yeah, well, every time people like go, "Yeah, here's our property, run with it."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you took away the games and the movies, like adaptions of books, how many times have they just gone completely off of what was originally written?
Yeah. Listen, one of the only book adaptations that turned out better than the book was Forrest Gump.
I haven't read that.
All right. Another fun fact. So, like I said, this went through a couple of different versions of a script before we actually got the film. The very first version was actually going to be very serious. It was like this Odyssey, like existential crisis / road trip movie that was going to be more of a serious drama and not at all a comedy. And the producer was like, no, we're not doing that. And originally for that version of the Super Mario Brothers film, they had Dustin Hoffman in mind to play Mario. Can you imagine Dustin Hoffman as Mario? It's me, Mario. Okay. So this one, it's a trivia question. I'm throwing it to you, Mark. Can you guess any of the big names of this time period? Like, can you guess any of the other names that they had approached to be in this film?
You know, I did read this the other day, but I've completely forgotten. Oh shit! I actually did read it. I can't think. I can't think. Do you know? I think Josh Brolin would be good in this. Like, he would be good Mario.
Pierce Brosnan?
No. Josh Brolin. The guy who played Thanos.
Oh, Brolin. Josh Brolin.
Yeah, I think he'd make a great Mario. He wouldn't be short.
He's too tall.
No, he wouldn't be short, but like he would make a good Mario. I think he would. No, because he's got the gruffness.
Yeah.
Like he'd be good in this movie, but he wouldn't be short enough.
Yeah. So okay, the person I thought that they had in mind that was really good was Danny DeVito. Was one of their original choices to play Mario.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Obviously, Danny DeVito turned down the role. And then this one,
I'm glad he did. I'm glad
well,
he did.
yeah. So this one is not for Mario, but like they had approached these two guys to play Koopa, King Koopa, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Michael Keaton. Can you imagine Batman also playing Koopa?
I think Michael Keaton would have done it well. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger would have done it awfully.
Come on, he was Mr. Freeze.
It wouldn't have been a good role for Arnold Schwarzenegger. He would have made it worse.
Oh my god, can you just imagine the accent? Like,
yeah, no,
I got such a kick out of reading that.
I think Michael Keaton would have done a good menacing approach.
I think he would have been a lot less campy than Dennis Hopper.
I think Dennis Hopper was campy, but also dark.
And believe it or not, Bob Hoskins did not want to take this role. Like when they offered it to him, he was like, "No, like I've already done enough kid movies," because he had done Roger Rabbit, and he had done Hook, and he was like, "I don't want to do any more kids movies." And they were like, "No, but please, you're perfect." So like literally, they typecast him because he was short and stout, and they were like, "But you would be a perfect Mario because you fit the part."
Literally fit.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Fit in that part.
But,
no, I, in honesty, I don't know. Like, do you know when you said all those things just now? Like Hook, I loved Hook. I loved Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And,
man, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of all time.
But no, and this film, yeah, he does fit the role. I think Danny DeVito probably would have been a good.
Danny DeVito would have been a really good Mario. I think so. Yeah.
I think Michael Keaton probably would have been a good Cooper. I think he plays the role well of villain. So, like Vulture, as we saw. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so a summary of this movie from IMDb is two Brooklyn plumbers, Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi. Mario.
Yes.
Must travel to another dimension to rescue a princess from the evil dictator King Koopa and stop him from taking over the world.
Dun, dun, dun. Also, like, where does Daisy come from? Like, I always thought it was Princess Peach. How did we get Princess Daisy? Was there a Daisy in the games, or is that just like creative license?
I think that was, maybe they just didn't like Peach.
Maybe. Okay. Fair. That's fair.
Maybe in the game she's Daisy Peach.
Oh, she could be. I mean, I did not know that Mario had a last name until this movie.
I think they, I think they, again, creative licensing. It was weird to see Mario and Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
So anyway, your thoughts on this movie, Jasmine?
I love it.
Summary.
It's so stupid. It is so stupid. It is so bad, but it's one of those like fun bad movies. Like we've been on a run of watching a lot of bad movies lately, but like this is to me like fun bad. I still laughed. I still enjoyed it the same way that I enjoyed it when I was a kid. It's just like, I don't know. It's turn off your brain and just kind of enjoy it fun to me. And there's like a paper thin plot. But the characters are so endearing. Like I really do like the relationship that Mario and Luigi have in the film. The female characters don't really have much to them. But most of the films of that time didn't have good female characters to begin with. But just like I think the only thing I wanted more of was if they were going to go into the game route like they did with some of the bombs that they had in the film. Like I really would have loved more mushrooms. Like I just like or other turtles, like just some other kinds of nods to the game. And I think that is one of the biggest criticisms that a lot of people have of this film. It's like it steps so far away from a lot of the game stuff, but that's my one thing that I miss about this film. It's like I wish there had been a little bit more of that.
Do you know, like you, I actually really, I would say I love this film. I think I actually really like and enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
I at the time I didn't even question the fact that the interpretation of this game film was so different to this game. It didn't, obviously. The movie that we're going to watch next week
very different.
is taken straight out of the games, straight out, smack dab in the middle, and this is just such a different interpretation. But I really enjoy the interpretation, and it feels like the movies of this time, like the original 1990 Turtles movie, and it's got that whole similarity to it, that whole vibe about it, and I really, honestly, I really enjoy so much of this film. I think the whole premise is great, or the alternate worlds thing, the meteor eye, just all of it. And I love how we've got these essentially modern, darker characters for all of them. And I don't know, I just really enjoy the nods that we get, like Yoshi and the Koopas and the Goombas and all. I don't know, I just think they did really well with kind of the modernization of this this license, essentially, from the games. And let's be honest, the games don't ever really have a story.
None.
Mario rescuing Princess Peach.
Yeah.
And Mario and Luigi did have to rescue Princess Peach. The only thing I'd say they altered, which I think was appropriate, because considering the age of Mario and Luigi in the films,
thankfully.
Which would have been creepy as
yes.
Like if Mario had been after Princess Peach. I think they did well. They did well to give Mario his own love interest and have Luigi be the one after, Princess Daisy. So I to be honest, I enjoyed all of it. I think it was great. And when it ended, I was like, we'll talk about the ending in a bit, but when it ended, I was like, I would watch a sequel.
Definitely. And they left it wide open for a sequel too. And I will say, like, one of the biggest differences from watching this when I was a kid to watching it again, when I was a kid, I was terrified of anything that had a lot of teeth. So, like, I didn't like sharks. Like, I didn't like alligators. Like, I was always scared of anything that had lots of teeth. And to me, there were just way too many teeth in this movie. Like, the Goombas and their little tiny, like, baby lizard teeth freaked me out when I was a kid. And then that scene when Koopa turns into a dinosaur, like, he had way too many teeth in his mouth. And I was like, this is really freaking me out. So, like, it was fun to watch it this time and be like, oh my God, remember when that scared you? And like now looking at it, it's like, God, it looks so stupid now.
I did watch this when it first came out, like you, and I have rewatched it a few times. It's a film I've actually always enjoyed, and I think it is one of, like you say, the better of the bad movies. It fits in there with things like Howard the Duck, and it's definitely, like, Spawn was terrible, Man Thing was terrible.
Spawn was good. I enjoy Spawn,
but this is, I think
this is way better than Spawn, though.
Like, this is on the Howard the Duck world, I think. Oh yeah, this is way better than Spawn. Crazy to think that Spawn came out later, and
that's embarrassing almost.
And also Spawn, I think, probably had more money. I can't remember now, but anyway, we'll talk about the characters of the movie. And I actually, like you say, so Bob Hoskins, who played Mario, I love it. It even says on IMDb Mario. So, like,
I noticed that when I was watching the credits. I was like, oh my God, it really does say Mario and Luigi Mario.
So Bob Hoskins, born in 1942, did die in 2014. And like you say, is well known for a variety of things. So he played Eddie Valiant in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And he played Smee. I don't know if you knew this, but he played Smee in Captain Hook.
Yes.
In Hook. But he also played Smee again in a TV miniseries special that came out. I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, called Neverland. He played the same character in a different thing.
Interesting.
I remember watching that, like, in 2011, thinking, like, what on earth is going on? And yeah, it was in loads of properties, and not all of them necessarily good, but it was in Garfield as well. So, but anyway, character of Mario, I think he played a really strong lead. I felt like
he really does. Like, he's the glue that keeps this film together. Like, everybody else is much younger and very obviously, like, inexperienced. Like, I think they said that this was one of John Leguizamo's, like, first actual film roles. The producers discovered him when they went to watch his stand-up comedy show, and after they saw his stand-up comedy show, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna put that guy in this movie. But like, Bob Hoskins, for as serious of an actor as he is, like, he just plays these over the top comedic roles really well.
Oh, he was he like gruff, annoyed,
Yeah.
you know, and leadership qualities
Yeah.
throughout as well. There's so many great moments, especially for me, the dance scene with
With
the bigger
Bertha.
sort of, with the bigger musty lady,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that like he takes a punch to the face, but actually he turns that on its head and walks up to her and says, "Oh, can you do it again?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then she's like, "Oh, I like that."
Yeah.
Like, and so, I like. I'll be honest. If someone punched me in the face, I don't think I'd be going back. Can you go and do it again?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so,
No.
So Luigi Mario is played by John.
Leguizamo.
Yeah, there you go. He was born in 1960 and he is still alive.
Yeah, he's in John Wick.
So he's known for various things, including
Chuang
Spawn,
Fu.
the
Oh
clown.
yeah, he was in Spawn.
Yeah. He was in Moulin Rouge.
My favorite John Leguizamo role.
Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah. I never saw that. But to Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. That is my favorite John Leguizamo role.
He was in Violent Night. He played Scrooge. Violent Night is quite funny. I didn't know this. He was in The Mandalorian. Anyway, I thought he was hilarious through this movie.
Yeah.
And what I loved was that actually, whilst Mario was the glue, Luigi also was the heart and the inspiration for what led to the saving of them all.
Mm-hmm.
So his kind of faith, interest, belief, whatever it is, in the
unknown,
in the unknown, the otherworldly stuff, which is very well built up, I would say. And I'll talk about the structure of writing in a minute, but I thought it was very well built up for the character. That our intro to him is watching one of those unexplained shows.
Yeah. It's like Unsolved Mysteries. I used to love that when I was a kid.
Oh, I used to love those, but now I'm older. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch Unsolved. I want to watch Solved Mysteries.
Yes, exactly.
I don't want to get to the end and be like,
what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
But I love that throughout the movie, he's very like he clearly has a passion and a fire for Daisy.
Yeah.
But also just for this mystery world that's going on. And I love that kind of ties towards the end where him and Mario get mentioned in one of those unexplained videos.
Yes.
But also his constant thing about trust the fungus.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, Mario takes inspiration from his younger, more naive brother and it's like trust the fungus.
Mm-hmm.
And the fungus like actually saves him. But yeah, just quickly, I'll talk about the other two main characters and then we'll go. So Samantha Mathis, who plays Daisy,
Peach.
very much Princess Peach, very much an actress of that day. So she was in Broken Arrow. She was in one of my all-time favorite movies, Pump Up the Volume, which came out in 1990.
What?
Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, you should honestly. It's annoying because if you watch it now, you won't have the nostalgia, and you'll say it's crap. But
like He-Man.
He-Man is good no matter what year you watch it in. Master of the Universe is one of the best films ever made.
Okay. Okay.
She's become more of a TV actress now. She's got older. But I love the fact that she plays the role twice, her mum and herself.
I didn't notice that she was her mom too.
Yeah, it annoyed me later on when the evil Cooper villain wife walks into the room going, which one of you is Princess Daisy? It was like, fucking looks like her mum.
Yeah.
She literally, she goes something like, oh, you've got your mum's eyes. I thought, and her face, and her nose, and her mouth. It's the same actress. But anyway, I loved her spunk and because I feel like she kind of drove this as well.
She and at the end, like she didn't have to be saved. I really like that about her. She was like, I gotta stay. Like these are my people. I want to learn more about them, so I gotta stay here.
I think that I loved. I saw it a mile coming. Like even back then, it was obvious it was coming. But I love the fact that actually, Luigi and her did get the kiss. But actually, Luigi, sorry, I got my people first.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I thought was great, and also her dad.
Yeah,
like so,
and Yoshi.
So, the fourth big character in this movie, actor Dennis Hopper, who played King Koopa, born in 1936, and unfortunately, I did look up just now, died in 2010. So shame. He's known for many things.
Speed.
Do you know what? I was literally going to say it. Right, okay. Easy Rider.
Yeah.
Blue
Velvet.
Speed. Waterworld. The villain of Waterworld.
Never saw. I couldn't get through Waterworld. I was like, okay, this is too much, Mel. This is too much.
Do you know what? Like, it was destroyed, slated, whatever. I actually really liked that movie. So, as a villain, I thought he did a good job. Like,
yeah.
with
like watching it now, he reminded me very much of Donald Trump.
yeah.
I just couldn't shake that image.
I love the intro that he comes in covertly, like, oh, I'm Lazard, or Lazard's whatever, and then he goes Condor, Dactyl, whatever, like all that as in they're the partners.
Yeah.
And I thought that was quite cool. And then I love the menacing look when they go, yeah, we want to talk to that Cooper clown, and he's like, you could see the look on his face, holding back the anger, which I thought was cool because you could see. I thought he did well with the facial expression of holding back the anger. So, and like throughout it, I did think he handled campiness and
he was a good campy villain for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I didn't like the Bulk and Skull cousins.
Oh yeah. Now those two guys have been in just about like anything you can imagine. They've got extensive IMDb like credits. It's crazy. Like they have those kinds of faces where you're like, I know that guy from somewhere, and it's like, yeah, you've probably seen him in like 40 movies.
Huge TV history, both of them. So, but obviously those are the four main characters that carry this movie. I know we've got Cooper's wife, who is a strong English TV actress, and
Dudley's mom.
But of all of the characters and actors, do you have a favorite?
Yeah, Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta be. I just love how like the Bob Hoskins is so great. Like you never, ever, ever, ever hear his natural accent. It doesn't slip. It doesn't like nothing. He is some Joe Nobody plumber that lives in Brooklyn, and like you never forget it throughout the entire film. Like he is very like he never ever slips up. He puts so much into this part, and it's kind of like you're putting a lot of effort into something that it's super campy to begin with. But I just like, how could you not pick him as your favorite? He's definitely my favorite.
Oh, he's so like honestly, he's so good. When I was watching this, that's why I was a bit like, oh, what else has he been in? And went to it. Wasn't he in Unleashed?
I don't know what Unleashed is.
I'm pretty sure he was in Unleashed.
One of my favorite Bob Hoskins movies, and now like I can't remember the name of it, but it was set during World War II in London, and Judi Dench ran this like brothel, and he was one of her financiers at the brothel. It's such a good film.
He was in Unleashed. Came out in 2010 and 2005. Sorry, starred Jet Li and Morgan Freeman and Kerry Condon. Amazing. But he's the villain. Bob Hoskins is the villain. You should watch it. It's really good. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah, like very much of that early 2000s and stuff. But like, so I agree with you. I think Mario was really strong. Bob Hoskins did a really good job. I loved him in it. I think he is a strong actor in everything he's in. Like, you name it, like Hook. I loved him in Hook. I think, to be honest with you can't watch something and not enjoy Bob Hoskins' performance.
Yeah.
It's such a shame, obviously, that obviously we will go at some point, but I would love him to be here. And I actually was thinking, with this Mario revival that we've got going on right now, it would be so cool if Nintendo were like, "Oh, go on then, we'll finance a sequel." Like,
I mean, I really would love it if I'm watching that movie and then I hear John Leguizamo's voice as one of the characters in this movie.
So those are things they could do as well.
Yeah.
For me, I think Princess Daisy was my favorite.
Okay.
I think she was spicy at the beginning, which I quite liked. She stood up to
Scapelli.
Scapelli is sort of the minor villain of the movie.
Yeah.
And which I was quite cool that they had kind of like an Earth-based villain, like a foil for Mario and Luigi in Brooklyn. And,
yes, because
I
plumbers and conglomerate presidents ever mingle on the same plane.
So I love the fact that she's like stands up against them, and while she kind of does get sidelined a little bit once we end up in the parallel, Cooper world, she does become her own, and I love the fact that she does, stand up for herself.
Yep,
Up
she
for
makes
people.
friends with Yoshi and Toad.
Yeah, and she's even the Goompers she has sympathy for, but then stands up on her own in the end. And I love that whole thing. I love seeing a strong female presence.
Yeah,
and like you say, of that time it was very minimal, but I think of that time it was good to see a strong female presence. And between this movie and Pump Up the Volume, it did make me really kind of love her as an actress. So she's my favorite anyway.
Okay, all right.
Have you got any thoughts on any other characters or?
No, not really. I mean, everything else was just kind of side characters and fodder for everything else that was going on. I did like the dynamic, the dynamic between the two brothers, but also just the dynamic that we got with everyone else, like the way that the cousins and Koopa interacted with each other. Just I don't know, it for something that is so low budget, it just feels like nobody was phoning it in. You know how sometimes you watch a movie and it's like, I can clearly tell that you are just here for the paycheck. You're not even interested in making anything entertaining. But it just felt like watching this film this time around, like the people that were there wanted to be there.
Yeah, I even if because you said Bob Hoskins didn't really want to be in it, he didn't portray that.
Right, exactly.
Like,
that never came across on screen.
Right. And Luigi, like the actor who played Luigi, John came
Leguizamo.
across actually like him came across like he was enjoying himself.
Yeah.
So even Dennis Hopper, he came across like he enjoyed that role.
Yeah.
Even the minor people, maybe it was a lot of fun on set.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
you can tell normally if they're not enjoying themselves too.
Yeah.
So I was chatting to a friend today who said like she works in a small office with like 8 people, and she said you can tell like when one person has a bad day, it ruins the whole office.
Oh, that sucks.
And like because it's so small.
Yeah.
Because it's so small, and you can imagine if it was a bad set and a bad vibe and people didn't really want to be there, you'd feel that energy.
Yes.
And it feels to me like they got on well. So
yeah.
Right. Okay. So the structure of this movie.
Well,
first, no. What do you think first about just like the writing and even just like how they set things up? Because I do think they set things up well.
I think they laid the structure well. I think a lot of the writing, it's very kind of cliched. And again, like we keep saying it, but like it's of the time. Like it very much feels like the time frame that it's from. It's not very original. There's not much to it. Like anytime somebody has a zingy one-liner, like you could have seen it coming a mile away. So I don't think that there's any kind of uniqueness or punch or anything like that in the dialogue itself. I think it's what saves this movie is the actor's interpretation of the script that they were given. Because I think just if you take them out of it, I think this movie would have been even worse in other people if they were behind the scenes. Like I don't think the writing is much to write home about. Like I said, I think they did lay out the structure pretty nicely. It was kind of cool that we got another dimension, how they explained how the other dimension got there. Like the explanation of how we got from point A to point B. Okay, sure. Like if obviously if I bought into dinosaurs evolving into humans, like I am okay with the way that this is structured. Oh damn, there was one thing that hopefully I'll remember it, but like there was something that jumped out at me that was like, now I can believe the dinosaurs, but this is hard to believe. I'm gonna try to remember it.
So I think what I liked was, and I like the fact they had, like you just said, I think they had a good structure, like an intro, like they set up well, the different dimensions.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. The intro. Yeah, the one thing I couldn't get behind, I was like, there is no way that if they dropped that baby off at a covenant and the nuns opened it and it was an egg, they would throw that thing away so fast. There ain't no way no Catholic nuns would accept an egg. And then when it cracked open, they would take care of whatever was inside of it.
Yeah, that bit stood out for me as a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like I thought the fact that they kind of showed the church panels and it kind of didn't really fit then the tone of the rest of the movie, because it was very much like you'd almost think, is this, you know, Satan's child or whatever, you know. It kind of had that whole horror-esque start, and then we completely jumped away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I've said this already about, I think they set up plot points quite well, like introducing Luigi's fascination with the unexplained, which helped to set up that that final battle at the end. Well, with it wasn't the final battle, but it was the one pre that with Cooper, and he goes trust the fungus, and then Capelli gets hit and stuff like that. There was, I think that I really like when they're doing clever things like that. They've signposted you along the way.
Yeah.
But because Mario is clearly not ever going to be a believer, like he on his own, he's not someone like that. He's quite a serious guy in all honesty. But to see down the road, because we're highlighted several times throughout this movie how strong their relationship is. You know, Mario was the mum and the dad to Luigi.
Yeah. The brother, the uncle, everything. Yeah,
the brother, the uncle, everything. And to see the dynamic between the two of them grow throughout this movie, whilst it was obviously strong pre this movie, we got to see it really get strengthened. And I don't know, I really enjoyed seeing that strength between them. One of my favorite scenes, to be honest, was actually pre them going to Cooper's world, was when they were in the van, and they did it again later on, but when they were arguing about which direction where to go. And later on again, how well this was, they played it, and he deliberately told Mario to go the other way, knowing that he wouldn't listen to him. So that's how well they know each other. And I really admire, I think, the script, in this, how well they put this together. Whilst it isn't the best movie in the world, I definitely think that it was very strong in terms of its setup and world building and character building, I would say. Intrigued me as well, the whole alternate world thing. And again, coming to setups where the mum died when she went back to go through the other world, and stuff fell on her in the caves. But then later on, Samantha Mass's character, when she finds the fossils, saying they looked like had human features, trying to be human, and obviously it was her human mum, well, not in a human body, died, who obviously was a descendant of a dinosaur. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Like, there's loads of little clever setups along the way, and also just the little nods, like having Yoshi, the Goombas.
Yoshi, I really enjoyed that.
So I don't know. I think they did a good job, in all honesty, in trying to do this together, and I love the banter between the two of them.
Oh yeah, so, they sound very much like brothers.
Like real brothers.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd cut or change at all?
I mean, yes, but like not really. I think they did the best with what they had. I think it worked. Like, I don't know. Maybe if they were going to put Big Bertha in there, give her something a little bit more to do than to just punch Bob Hoskins and then kiss him and then send him on his merry way. But not really, no. I mean, I think as a whole, this is pretty solid.
And like, any favorite scenes?
Yes, of course. When they finally put on these outfits and then they get their video game colors, that was so, like, the entire time I was watching the movie, like every time they showed up, I was like, why is Mario always wearing green? Like, it really pissed me off. I was like, why are you in green? You're not supposed to be in green. And then when they put him in that yellow suit, I was like, okay, now this is just bullshit. Like, why is he in a yellow suit? And then finally, we get them at the end and they're blue and they're red and green. And I was just like, yes.
I love that part, like
Yeah.
getting them finally in their costumes.
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
But I like the fact that they didn't open in their costumes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, think about most superhero origin films.
Yeah.
Like it's not until like the last 15
it takes
minutes.
time. You got to earn that uniform. Yeah.
But also, I think it would have looked cheesy as hell, like
Yeah, just everyday stuff. Yeah.
And also be like Power Rangers, like if they say we're just wearing like a red t-shirt and a green t-shirt, and then like they wear these later on, I'd be like, oh, it's Power Rangers all over again. So although Power Rangers I don't think had come out at that point, but it is very much an easy way out for a lot of people, just to put them in the familiar colors. And that, like, it was good that they stayed away from the familiar colors. So
what about you? What favorites do you have?
Yeah, I enjoyed, like I say, the banter between them in the van. One of the things I like is in the lift with the Goompers, where they start
the dancing. Yeah,
the dancing. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Like one of my favorite scenes actually is quite. Well, I was going to talk about it in a minute. Actually, was the end. Actually, the final scene. It was kind of again a bit built up here. We knew that we could see Daisy was going to stay. And then it jumps to how many was it 4 weeks later or something, or
it's not too much time has passed.
So when they're in the apartment watching The Unexplained, and I loved seeing Luigi's face when both the brothers are on the thing. I love that whole thing, and Mario's girlfriend's making dinner and all that. And you just know what's going to happen. And then Daisy shows up at the door, and she's like all action packed,
dusty with this big ass gun.
Yeah, like honestly, I love that scene. And that made me literally head to Google to look up sequel, because I knew there hadn't been a sequel, but I was like, what happened? Like, what actually? I love the fact that it does end on a cliffhanger. It doesn't really need a sequel, but it was nice to end on a cliffhanger in which she's like, but what? And then the bits in here that I really love. There's so much about this scene you could break down. And then she's like, "You're not going to believe what happened or whatever." And Mary's like, "No, I do believe it." Like, he starts.
He just grabs his belt. He's like, "All right, let's suit up."
But I love that he grabs his plumber's belt.
Of course.
Not a gun. Or
he didn't. No, he needs his tools, man. He needs a wrench.
Like, he's just so much of a plumber, like that he applies it into real world, like end of the world, thing that he, his belt has saved the day. And actually, in all honesty, I love the fact that throughout the movie, how many times him being a plumber saved the day.
Yes, when he was like, "Ooh, look, we're in this basement with all of this heating, but let's turn the heat off."
Well, because obviously reptiles don't like heat. Need heat. Reptiles need heat. So, but I love the fact that they did bring their plumbing skills into the movie as continual plot points to drive the plot forward. It wasn't like, oh, it's two plumbers. Okay, who cares?
I mean, somebody even took a plunger to the face.
Well, I think that's pretty awesome. Just like how much they like create the plumber world to their plumber skills into their world. And the rivalry between them and corporate plumbers as well. I think it's cool.
Okay, so what did you think about the end credit scene?
I can't remember. No, I didn't go beyond the title.
Yes.
There's an end credit scene. I didn't know that. I turned it off when the title came up.
This was the first time I have seen it. Because I got up from watching it to go to the kitchen, and then all of a sudden I heard talking again, and I was like, what the hell? So the end credit scene is what they say. They said that this movie was hinting at being a prequel to the games. And so at the end credit scene is two Japanese men in someone's living room, and they're saying, "Hey, what's it going to take for us to turn your story into a video game? We'd really, really like to make your story a video game. What should we call it?" And it's the cousins. It's not the Mario Brothers. It's the cousins, and they're like, the Koopa cousins. It's like a throwaway line, but also I can see why you didn't know it was that, like, it's not 93 was not really a big like end credit scene era, so like I was not expecting there to be anything, which is why I got up and left the couch.
I've never known there was an end credit scene or mid credit scene or end credit scene or whatever. Like
it comes at the very end of the credits. It's very end.
Never would have got that far.
Yeah.
So I bet most people wouldn't have done. Most
I
people
know.
wouldn't have known.
Like I said, this was I've seen this movie a bajillion times, but this was the first time I saw the end credit scene.
Oh, that's annoying. I'm gonna have to put that on now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check it out.
So
The Koopa cousins.
Oh, that would actually be really funny. So, but yeah. So anyway, like obviously the cliffhanger I saw, obviously with Daisy coming back, you know, you don't believe it, whatever, made me go to Google and be like, well, what happened? Like, why was there no sequel?
And what did Google say?
Well, I found a website. It's one of those fandom ones. And it was cancelled for it gives 9 reasons.
Okay.
So the first one was the negative reviews.
Yes.
The second one was many of the stars of the film called the first one a nightmare.
Okay. Oh darn.
Okay. Number 3, it was a box office failure, which we already said. Number 4, Bob Hoskins expressed no interest in returning to the role.
I believe that.
John Leguizamo went on to other projects instead of coming back, so he clearly didn't want to come back either. Hollywood
he was
Pictures,
booked and busy.
Yeah, Hollywood Pictures produced. Oh, okay, this is quite a big one. The company that produced it went out of business in April 2007.
Ah, okay.
Quite a big one. The film number 7. The film led to Nintendo withholding the live-action movie rights to all their properties for over 20 years.
See, that's what you get for saying creative license. Do what you want.
Number 8, the movie famously stuffed through a hellish production that saw it go through constant rewrites. I mean, that must annoy a lot of the actors.
Well, yeah. Like, can you imagine you spent all night reading a script, you get to set, and they're like, oh, here's your new script. Motherfucker.
Right, and then number 9, apparently Bob Hoskins nearly lost his life on 2 separate occasions on the set.
Yikes.
So which made the writers very off the mood to make a sequel. So
I mean, if you got me in unsafe working conditions, that don't make me want to come back either.
Not even as Mario.
No. No.
I think there's quite a few reasons there, but let's be honest.
Money.
It didn't make enough money. It didn't even make back.
It did make its budget back, yeah.
And I think those are the 2 biggest things. Let's be honest. With all of those things aside, 40 million budget. If it had made 150 million,
there would have been 5 by now.
Oh, there would have been definitely. Well, back then there would have been at least 2 more sequels.
Yeah.
Like at least 2 more. Because I mean, if you think about it, same quality of films probably would have been made, but hoping to recapture that.
Yeah.
Because you know, you look at the Screams; they're made for next to nothing, and they make like 100 million easily every time. They're made for like 20 mil and make like 100 mil. So it's like, yeah, okay, we'll go to keep bashing these out.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. 40 mil was quite cheap budget.
Yeah, but look at the difference. So look at the difference. Like in some of these, I don't know. Like this movie had a $40 million budget, and when we look back at Spawn probably had a similar budget. Spawn did make a lot of money. I think Spawn made like 70 or 80 million. It made its budget back, but it was just critics hated it. But like just the difference in practical effects versus relying so heavily on special effects, right? Like if you don't have a big budget, this kind of movie is the way to go, because they still did have special effects, but like they did a mix of practical effects with special effects. And like you just get more bang for your buck. And to me, I mean, you know, obviously it didn't go well in 93, but like in 93, I loved this movie. I thought this movie was amazing. And like it's still so fun to watch now, you know? I don't know. I mean, I think if you know how to spend your money, then you can make a decent film on a smaller budget.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many evidence of you know, there's so many films that they've made over the years, like those what do they call it, camera movies, you know, where it's all filmed on like a camera.
Oh yeah, like Blair Witch Project or something like that.
Like Blair Witch Project, or there was that film where it's part of that weird connected franchise. Like each movie's different.
Oh yeah, Cloverfield,
yeah. So the first Cloverfield was handheld footage again. That blew up.
The found footage.
Yeah, found footage. That's it. Like so many found footage films that are made on nothing.
Yeah.
And then they like banked 200 million. You know,
Yeah.
they made on like 5 mil, and like
Yeah.
it's crazy how many found footage films have do so well.
Yeah.
But
do you have any estimates on how much money you think this Mario film is going to make, the new one?
apparently, there's already I'm seeing good reviews are coming in.
I think it's going to be a $500,000 to 750, if not above that. I think this is going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, 750 million, maybe. Yeah, maybe it could do that. Maybe. Yeah, more than that, I reckon.
Yeah.
So, whilst a lot of people were not pleased that Chris Pratt was in it, people seem to still be going and watching.
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm still going to be going. So.
Well, yeah, we're going to go. We're going to both go and watch it. But I probably okay, even if you ignore Chris Pratt and it was just an unknown actor that I didn't know, I'd still probably go.
Yeah, me too.
I do think they could have got the voice more like the game, like they've done with Disney Property.
Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess. So before we end this out though, actually just thought about something that I'd be interested to pick your brains on. One of the things I found was weird was for the fact that they made such a big deal about Cooper and everyone living in kind of poverty, rundown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're desperate to get to the human world because they feel like that's where the golden ticket is. They've got a lot of advanced technology.
Right.
So they've got these cool boots. They've got this devolve machine. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they've got the ability to I don't know how they did it now, but the ability to walk between worlds. And I just wondered, like, there's a few bits in there. What's your thoughts on technology? Do you have a favorite technical item?
It's a toss-up between the boots and the bomb.
Oh, the little bomb at the bottom.
Yeah. But like I think I like the bomb because like everybody was so terrified. Everybody. Like they saw this little thing walking across the street and this guy stops his car, gets out and runs. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, but everybody knew that it was like this bad thing. So I think I really enjoyed the bomb.
I think I love the boots. I really wanted
the boots
cool.
When
they came out. Like, I thought they were really cool. How they didn't fly far, but they kind of took you off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I thought they were really cool. So yeah,
I did like the boots.
I would love a pair.
Well, I'm sure that they are out there somewhere. The truth is out there, Mark.
The boots hopefully are out. Do you know what? Maybe we'll look it up. But they're probably a lot of money. So.
I'm sure they're on eBay somewhere. Somebody's got some.
It's like I always want the Back to the Future 2 Nike boots
and
the hoverboard.
Yes. I would hurt myself on the hoverboard. I just know it. Like I do not have the balance for anything like that.
Unfortunately, it's not a real hoverboard. So
I don't even think I can't ever get 2 feet on a skateboard. Like I can push and just like keep pushing with the other foot, but like I can never get both feet on the skateboard at the same time.
I think even if it was flat on the ground, you're saying you'd fall over.
Yes, essentially. I am very clumsy.
So with this, like, it's the ratings time. And obviously you could rate it for then and you could rate it for now.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I enjoyed it then as much as I do now.
Same.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like,
I'm still going 5. Like because even back then when it came out, I knew that it was not like good by normal standards, but that never dampened my enjoyment of it. And I feel the exact same way now. Like I've seen this movie countless times, but it's just like, I just never get tired of it. Like I really, really enjoy this film. I mean, again, I acknowledge that it is, it's bad, but I love it.
I'll be honest, I wasn't sure where to put my grade, but I am going to agree with you. You've talked me up.
Yes.
I'm going to go for a 5. I loved this movie back then. I loved it now. I admit it's not a good movie.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, as long as you understand, like, I fully understand that this is not Oscar worthy by any stretch of the imagination, but like, I don't care. I like it.
Why not? Like, why couldn't it win an Oscar? No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No. So, anyway, right. So I enjoyed that. Like, it was good.
That was fun. It was a
Like,
nice trip down memory lane. This is one of our longer episodes, but we were reminiscing about Mario because Mario obviously has been part of both of our lives for at least 30 years. At least.
I was more Sonic younger, but it's weird that I'm
Okay.
like Mario now.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well, no, I don't hate Sonic, but
I mean, I only had one friend that had a Sega, so I only ever got to play Sega like once or twice a year. So it was not like a thing until the Sonic cartoon. Now, when Sonic cartoons came out, I was obsessed with the Sonic cartoons. I loved them.
oh, we'll talk about them in a few weeks.
Shortly.
But, anyway, so next episode we will be reviewing the Super Mario Brothers movie 2023, which is the Chris Pratt version. So hopefully he's not being Chris Pratt in the movie and is being Mario. So anyway, you can follow us on social media. We're Geeks Unleashed everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Google, Podbean, Apple, Spotify. We're everywhere. So please leave us a 5-star review and tell your geeky friends.
Thanks for listening. Have a good week.
Good journey.
Good journey.